Today we see the moon in Cancer, creating a square aspect with Venus in Aries. Right now the moon is in the waxing gibbous stage. This is the stage where the moon is getting bigger as it proceeds to full illumination at the full moon. The full moon is on the 12th. So in a couple days, 4 or 5 days. The waxing gibbous phase is about creating momentum and to keep working towards those goals, those intentions that were set at the new moon. It's about trusting the process and then refining and honing how you're turning up to allow you to keep moving towards your goals, to keep moving towards the completion of this waxing cycle. The moon is the illumination of our inner self. It is our intuition and our emotions. So it represents our feelings, our inner self that we only know are unconscious, and how our inner self is reflected, how we work through our emotions, our intuition, and how we express and understand our feelings. And the moon is ruled by Cancer. So right now the moon is standing in its home zodiac sign. Cancer is the cardinal water sign. It is the 4th sign of the zodiac, and it is this movement into the emotions, into our emotional waters. Cardinal signs are signs of action. They are the signs of the zodiac that start off our seasons, the shifts into new energy. So they're all about taking action and turning up in that active energy, that movement forward. Water signs are associated with our emotions, our intuition, and the ways that we nourish ourselves. Cancer is the crab. It is our ability to protect ourselves while also being vulnerable. And while the moon is in Cancer, it is all about how we perceive our emotional selves, how we protect our emotional selves, but how we're also vulnerable to our emotional selves. While in this gibbous stage, this increase in illumination, this momentum of growth and abundance, the moon is really asking us to move forward from our inner self, from our inner knowing, from our emotional waters, and allowing us to perceive our emotions as the energy that they are. Emotions are energy in motion. Square aspects are aspects of tension and challenge, where two energies come at each other from different angles and create kind of this resistance of energies as they learn to approach each other, to look at each other's energy, and then to make a decision to turn the corner and move into change. So this squaring of the moon with the planet Venus is asking us to not only look at our emotional selves and how our emotions guide the ways that we see things, guide the ways that we turn up, guide the ways that we act and use our energy, but also to look at these aspects of the planet Venus. Venus is the planet of unconditional love and values. It represents our relationships in all their forms, including the relationship that we hold with ourself. It's connected to romance and the partnerships that we hold in that energy, but also to the other aspects and relationships that we have around us, our families, our friends, our coworkers, our colleagues, the people that we associate, and how we treat other people. This energy of unconditional love and acceptance that is the underlying energy of Venus is all about bringing those qualities to our relationships and to the people that we encounter every day, allowing us to turn up from this energy of acceptance, of understanding, of compassion and empathy and kindness. So Venus represents our relationships and our unconditional love, but it also represents our values and how we understand how our values influence our being. Our values will determine how we see others, how we treat others, how we treat ourselves, and how we put aspects into our being. So our values are also the things that we bring into being. So if we value kindness, we're going to be kind. If we value money, we may be more greedy. And how these values are not black and white, how these values are all put together as a whole. So really looking at the relationships we value, looking at the ways that we put forward from the values we hold on ourselves. And really this harmony and bliss that comes from understanding the things we value, understanding unconditional love, understanding that we have the ability to turn up with compassion and acceptance, and how these things need to be in balance. For we can be accepting and loving, but we also cannot put up with other people's shit and not put up with those who do not withhold our boundaries or those who disrespect and do not hold value of us. But really it's about how we turn up in those conflicts of values, how we give love to ourselves in all the situations that we find ourselves in. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it is the cardinal fire sign. So again, this cardinal energy, this energy of moving forward, this energy of taking action, of initiating and starting things. As the first sign of the zodiac, it is about the self. It is about taking initiation and getting started from this energy of renewal, this energy of rebirth, this energy of new beginnings. It can be an impulsive energy that can be quite impatient to move forward, yet necessary for us to be able to initiate change and to move into new cycles. Fire signs are all about activity and energizing and creating, and this energy of fire and abundance and creation and sparking things into life. So Aries is very much about sparking new actions into being, creating new energies. So Venus in Aries is all about creating new ways of giving and receiving love, creating new ways of seeing the things that we value, and initiating the ways that we act from these energies of love and acceptance, from these values that we hold, and really allowing us to initiate new energy into our relationships and giving us the strength to move out of those relationships that are not in alignment with the new cycles that we stand in. Venus right now has entered its pre-retrograde shadow, as it will go retrograde on March 1st. So it is beginning to slow down in our cosmic skies and will stay in Aries for a longer amount of time than normal as it goes into its retrograde period. Now, retrogrades are annual energies that are completely natural. Retrograde energy is about the planet looking like it's moving through backward motion from where we stand here on Earth. And it is all about reevaluating, reviewing, reassessing, looking at things in different ways, and really turning the energy within to see how we are using those energies, how they are using us, and really looking at how we want to shift and change those energies while the planet has slowed down its movement in the skies, to allow us to pause and take a moment before the planet goes back direct. So these energies of retrograde are starting to be felt in the planet as it slows down in Venus. So this square between the moon and Cancer, the moon in its power, in its emotions, moving into fullness, moving into those energies of growth and abundance, squaring Venus in Aries, squaring this energy of unconditional love and acceptance in its new beginnings, is really asking us to look at how our relationships, how our values, how our ability to give and receive love is influencing how we feel and how we put our energy into the things we want to grow, into the things we want to nourish, into the energies that we are putting forward. This square is asking us to see both sides of this cosmic connection, seeing our emotional selves, our inner selves, but also seeing our ability to love and our relationships and how these things come into conflict, but how we can also see things from other sides to enable us to make decisions to move forward. So allowing us to see how others give love, how others value, how others influence our life in positive and negative ways, and allowing us to see how those things play on our emotions, how those things play on the ways that we turn up and the ways that we act. And from this ability to see both these sides, we're able to make choices and decisions on how we want to move forward. Sometimes that means removing people from our lives or removing our energy from that person, no longer giving them our time, no longer giving them our love. And sometimes it's seeing that maybe we are the ones withholding our values, withholding our love from our relationships, and that we need to initiate and give more to these relationships, allowing us to fill our own emotional cups as well as filling those around us, and really asking us to see how our relationships are influencing us and how we are influencing our relationships, and how these relationships and these values are influencing the way that we are growing and working towards our goals. When looking at these energies, it's going to enable us to see where we are blocking ourselves from our growth, to see where we are blocking ourselves from where we are giving and receiving. And from these opening ups of perception, these opening ups of being able to see, we will be able to make new choices that will allow us to move forward, allow us to move past the tensions and challenges created by this aspect, that will allow us to open up and flow.